Hello, I'm Joe with Yeatts Rug Plant. Today I wanted to do a video I've been putting off for years. This is regarding vacuums. Customers ask us daily, what type of vacuum should I buy? You have various types. You have canister vacuums, you have backpack vacuums. What we use are upright vacuums. There are two main differences, and you can see various types of vacuums here that I will cover. One thing I wanted to mention briefly, a good brand of vacuum is made for decades. For instance, either one of these models, and you can see older versions, they're made for decades. So keep that in mind. What you're looking for, or what you'll most often find, you'll find the vacuums with beater bars and brush strips. You'll see your beater bar area there and your brush strips. And then the most common, especially for residential homes, are vacuums with just brush strips, just your simple brush strips that you see there, and it's a solid, smooth bar. Honestly, the only reason you would have a beater bar is to go over the backing of some of your rugs. And half the rugs, you couldn't even do this, but this is really the only reason you would have a beater bar. So it sort of beats the backing of the rug, but please make sure 50% of the rugs or more nowadays, you couldn't use a beater bar anyway. And that's the only reason you'd have a beater bar. The brush roll vacuums are safer. However, honestly, you can adjust the settings on either one of these vacuums. You have a setting which adjusts the wheels. You have a spring that will adjust all of this. And by adjusting the height all the way up, and such as this one here, even with the beater bar, you raise it all the way up. As you can see on a wood table or wood floor, it won't touch anyway. However, the brush roll vacuums on high setting on any type of floor is still the safer way to go. Okay, the next thing to consider before buying a vacuum is the type of trash or dust collection process your vacuum will have. You have various ways of collecting the trash or dust that you will vacuum. One is the dust cup or your dust collector, which comes with a cloth bag. One good thing about this type of vacuum in which you have a dust cup, you can easily see your trash. However, even with the cloth bag, as it gets over, not even a quarter way full, and you can see a line here, I believe on the dust cup, that says to change the dust cup. You can imagine trying to change this after it gets a little bit up into the cloth bag. It will be a mess, and these are not exactly the easiest things to take out, these dust cups, as you can see. And so that's one disadvantage. You really don't get as much use from the cloth bag. You could actually collect more, but as you see, it is a pain. Once it gets higher, it's going to make a mess to change. You literally would have to do it outdoors. You have the cloth bags here, and as you can see, the cloth bag you can't see, but of course you can hold a lot more trash. Normally you should change it about a quarter. Definitely when it gets to about halfway, it needs to be changed. That is a disadvantage of cloth bags, I've noticed. People do tend to push it. They'll let it get up to about 3/4, and by then you're getting no vacuum. So even on a simple brush roll vacuum like the others, where you have a cloth bag and can get more use, people do tend to over push it. The cloth bag, of course, like your dust cup, will last a long time. These will last a fairly long time. And then the third type, which we went over, this brush roll vacuum earlier, you have your paper bag You change these out, these bags, and as you can see, they come out real easy. Very little mess. And you just place in another bag. So these are easier to change, and they do hold quite a good amount of trash and lint. The problem is, however, you always have to buy these type. So that is one disadvantage. You would always have to keep buying the paper bags. One thing I wanted to go over with all of you viewing, certain rugs you just cannot vacuum. For instance, a rug here before me is a frise rug. Some people call them shag. This is a synthetic. But as you can see with the long carpeting, these are impossible to vacuum. It doesn't matter if you use a canister type vacuum, an upright vacuum. It doesn't matter if it's just a simple, safe brush roll vacuum. These rugs are impossible to vacuum, and this is all that will happen. I'll quickly turn that off. You can't even push the vacuum on these rugs to clean the rug because it will suck the rug right up. And if you're not careful, and if you try to force the vacuum, as I mentioned in other videos, first of all, you'll probably yank out some of the long carpeting, but you will also leave those black burnt rubber marking from the rubber belt. So these are just horrible rugs to try to vacuum. They're not very popular among fabric cleaning professionals. Another thing they have to do on all new rugs, and you'll see this, they have labels telling about the fiber content and where it's made. For instance, on this label, light traffic use only. So they knew, the manufacturer, that this rug was basically impossible to vacuum or keep clean. There are other types of rugs, natural fiber, that can be a pain to vacuum as well. There are stitch rugs, there are needle point rugs, Killam and Dury rugs. And the smaller those rugs are, the more difficult they are. Over here, for example, is another tough rug called a Bacora rug. And the smaller these rugs are, the less likely you'll be able to vacuum them thoroughly. They would tend to suck up into the vacuum. Another type of rug that is tough to vacuum are silk rugs, such as this one. Also, newer rugs, and a lot of rugs you buy in department stores, you will see on the label, viscose. Viscose basically means rayon, which is a man-made fiber. But either case, silk or viscose rugs are pretty much impossible to vacuum, as you'll see here. They immediately try to suck up the rug. So certain rugs are very difficult to vacuum regardless of the type of vacuum you purchase. We hope you have enjoyed our video explaining upright vacuums.